Hello everyone, I'm your Latake from CSC Department of VAT Damgal. How amazing is that just 20 years ago the people didn't even know what the internet was, and today we can't imagine our life without it. So today I'm here to giving you a quick overview what the deep learning is and why it's picking up right now. So let's get started. We have a look at that clip. And what is this so far over here? Well, that clip was from 1994. This is a far from a computer from 1980s. And the reason why we have tell this is a little bit because the neural network along with the deep learning have been around for a quite some time. And they've only started picking up impacting the world right now. But if you are looking an area, you will see that even though they have invented in the 60s and 70s, and they have really quoted you on trending area, so the people are talking about a lot, and they have a lot of research on that area. So everybody taught deep learning, and this is a new thing. Is that is going to impact the world, or is going to bring a changes, or is going to solve the real world problem? So let it consider slowly daily often with the next decade. So what happened? Why did the neural network not survive or not change the world? Was there reason for that? It's not just good enough that they are not predicting the things, are not good at modeling, are not good at inventions. So is there any other reason for that? Well, the reason in front of us is the fact that the technology background is not up to the standard to facilitate the neural network. And you don't know you don't know that the neural network and also deep learning is going to probably need to two things. One is you need data, and also you need a lot of data too, and you need a processing power, and you need a strong computer to process the data and facilitate the neural network. So let's have a look at how the data and the storage of the data has built over here, and how that technology as well. So let's see here. You have 3 years, that is 1956, 1980s, and also 2017. Somehow in the its storage look back in the 1956, there is some hard drive, and the hard drive is only a 5 megabytes. Right over fork left drive. It's always a small room. That's how hard drives transport to the another locations on a plane, and that is a storage look like in the 1956. And you had to pay, or a company had to pay $2,500 for those days dollars, and that for only for a rent, not for a buy, for only for the rent for a 1 month they have to pay $2,500. So when I come to the 1980 situation, somewhat improved little bit. So you are going to make 10 bytes of drive. You are going to pay 3,000, $3,500. It's still very expensive, but for nowadays, when I comparing, it's a one fourth of these days, right? And two is when you are gone to with the 2017, we got a 256 gigabytes of SD card, and that is for $150 on your finger. And if you are watching this video, um, you are going to lie on the next 2025, because even there you are going to get a strong storage capacity to the next 2025. So, and if you're comparing this across the border, and if even if you take a price or a concession capacity, whatever was attending at that time in the 1956 to the 1980, which was double. And the length of a hard drive is not that much different, but the usage jumped in a technically progresses that it shows not a linear, it's an exponential graph that take into a comprehension size. So let us consider here we have actually graph or a chart on a ergonomic scale. If you plot a hard drive cost for the gigabytes, you will see that the look something like where you are quickly approaching the zero right now. And you can guess the storage on a Roblox on the Google Drive, which doesn't you cost anything. And this is going to continue. In fact, the over a year, this is going to further right now. And then the scientists are looking into using DNA for the storage, and it is quite expensive. Its a cost is about $7,000, which is expensive for the synthesis of 2 megabytes of data, and then $2,000 to read it. That can remain for the whole situations of a hard drive and the plane. This is going to be remigrated very, very quickly. And with this exponential curve, the 10 to 20 years, everyone is going to be using DNA storage, and we gone in this direction. So in the next year, some states are now, you can see that if your storage limit, if you want to read about this, you can pause this video. And this information from nature.com is, and basically you can restore all the word of data just in a 1 kilo of DNA storage, or you can store about 1 billions of terabytes data in 1 kilo DNA storage. To show how quickly the progressing is this, why the deep learning is picking up now, that we are finally at the stage and we have data to train the super sophisticated model. And the second thing I would like to tell here is processing power and the capacity, array capacity. So here we got a exponential curve again, and logarithmic scale. This is how the computer have evolving right now. So same over here, we have a average computer buy for the 100 bucks. I think its rate is a speed of a brains of a rat. So basically, we are entering into the era of computers that are extremely powerful, that can process things the way faster than we can imagine, and that is what the facilitating the deep learning. So all these bring us to a questions: what is the deep learning, and what is all neural network situation is, and what is going on, and what we have even talking about here. And you've probably seen that pictures like this. And let's jump into what the deep learning is. And then next, this is a gentleman over here, Geoffrey Hinton, is known as the godfather of deep learning, and he did a research on deep learning in the 1980s. And then he done a lot of work and a lot of research paper he have published on deep learning. And he is a British Canadian cognitive physiologist and also a computer scientist. Since 2013, he has divided his times working for Google and also University of Toronto. And he is recently died on 2020, and he has lived for 73 years. The idea behind the deep learning is looking at a human brain, less a bit requirement of neural science coming up. And then in this video, what we are trying to do here is just remaking how the human brains operate. And we don't know that much, but we don't know everything about a brain, a human brain, but a little bit we know that. And we have to know that we want to remake it and recreate it, because the human brains seems to be one of the most powerful tool on this planet for learning, and also for learning, adapting skills, and also applying them. If a computer could copy that, then we could just leverage what natural selections as ready, and decided for also those kind of algorithm that it has. And we also decided to, so we gone to which is the best leverages that why we have invented those things. So let's see how this works. Here we got some neurons. So here we neurons which have been smeared on the glasses and looked at the microscopic coloring, which is a coloring. And this is what a neural looking like, and they have a branches, head, and tail too. And it has a nucleus in the middle of that each neuron. That what basically the neurons look like. And in the human brains, approximately 100 millions of neuron is actually it contains an individual neuron. and individual neuron, and each neuron is connected to the many other neurons which are neighboring to it. And this is the actual session of a human brain. This is the cerebrum, which is a part of your brain back. And then these are the millions of neurons are connected over here. And then so how do we recreate this in a computer? That is the thing here. Well, we have to create an artificial structure called as a artificial neural network, and where we have a nodes or a neurons. These are the nodes you can see here, and then we are going to give, and we have gone to some neuron for the input value. So there we have and these are the values that you can about situations where you are modeling something, and take as some input to start your predictions of. That is called as a input layer. And then you have an output layer, that the value that you want to predict, whether it is a someone is going to be leave the bank or staying. That is the thing, that is a problem you want to predict. And the new and also neural transitions and so on is going to be taken output. This is the output, and this is the output layer. And in between that you have a hidden layer. So you have hidden layer, and you can see in the brains some neurons or some information is coming up from eyes, nose, and that is not directly connected to the output, but it has to be going through several neurons and so on. And the hidden layer, we need a hidden layer in the middle of input and the output. When the input layer neuron is connected to the middle layer, that is the hidden layer. That hidden layer is once again connected to the output layer. So this is a hidden layer, and you can connect it with each input layer to the hidden layer, and then hidden layer to the output layer. So every each node is connected to the every node which is present in the hidden layer, and then hidden layer is connected to the output layer. So this is a pretty cool, but what is this all about? And where is the deep learning? Is you can ask that, but why is the deep learning? We can call that because nothing is deep here, right? So well, this is a kind of some options which one might can call shallow learning. Is not going to be deep, but why is called as deep learning is because we can take to the next level of this. This is here you can see. So here you have a this is the input layer, and this is the output layer. In the middle of this, you have a hidden layer with so many nodes, right? So you are going to see more nodes in the middle. So here they are connected everything, and that now input value processed through all hidden layers, just like through a human brain. Then we have a output value. So this is how the complexity of the hidden layer will tell that how the deep learning is. And then that is what the deep learning is all about, and it is a very abstract level. In this further video, in further videos, we going to dissect and deep into a deep learning. By the end of which, you will know what a deep learning is all about and how to apply this in your project. So super excited! This you can wait to get started and look for a seeing a next video. Until then, enjoy the deep learning. So thank you. If you want to know more about the deep learning, like this video and subscribe to my channel.